On today's show, we ask, if your friends don't give a monkeys about faith, how on earth do you begin the conversation about God?
Hello and welcome to the first TGI Monday of 2000.
On today's show, we ask, if your friends don't give a monkeys about faith, how on earth do you begin the conversation about God?
2017. Wow, I know. So 2017 can't be worse than 2016.
I hope I don't have
deaths. There was a lot of
There was
a lot of deaths, I tell you. My big wish for 2017 is I do not want to do as many funerals as I did in 2016.
You've been doing celebrity funerals?
No, I've been doing local people funerals.
Lots and lots.
Wow.
Which is...
Lots
Okay,
and lots and
So,
lots.
good.
no more of that.
Anyone else have any hopes, goals, ambitions?
Well, I stopped being a curate this year.
Do you?
I
Gosh.
do. In fact, really soon, I'm having that interview where you're released by the bishop or signed off.
Wow.
So
So you'll be looking for a new job?
Yes. Although I can stay another 6 months after that. So
Yeah.
most likely sometime in 2017, I'll stop being what I call the baby vicar.
Wow.
Although
Start being
I
a
don't
proper
mind
grown
being-
up.
Remember that.
Great. How about you, Dan?
Every year I do. I don't do resolutions.
Yeah.
I do upgrades.
Oh,
I saw.
wow.
I know. I saw it in a
You're
magazine.
so
I saw it in a
suave.
magazine once.
Is that like your
what are your
phone?
New Year's upgrades? You're like a
Excellent.
computer.
So
Yeah.
You have to
Is that because your
reinstall
contract's ended
Something.
on with your mobile?
something
So
like
what
that.
are we on sort of version, 39.8 or
Yeah,
something?
no, I only started a couple of years
Okay.
ago.
Does your
And-
battery run out after 2 years?
Well, the
You've
thing
gotta
is,
redo it
you
again?
see, it's like I get to the end of the year and I look at my upgrades I did last year, and I realise most of them I haven't actually achieved.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's the same
So,
thing.
yeah, it's the same.
yeah,
Same.
we all
It doesn't
have-
really change
Okay.
anything.
That's
But
like
it does
cool.
give
Yeah.
you
Something to work
It does
towards.
give you something to work towards.
Yeah.
So I keep doing it.
And something to feel really bad about by
Excellent.
February.
I
Yeah.
had quite a big life revelation
Exactly.
a few weeks ago. I know, I'll share this with you
Gosh.
now. I know. So I worked out that actually I've been doing really well at getting to bed a bit earlier, but that hadn't translated into corresponding getting up a bit earlier. So actually then I was like, I've got less time, I'm getting less things done. And then this is the big revelation. It's okay to get less things done. So that's my aspiration for 2017. Is
Will
just
you tell my boss that?
yes, I will. Given that he's also my boss,
I shouldn't.
that it's okay.
I'm doing less this year, boss.
I'm doing less this year. That's
all
my
right.
goal.
We can
That's
all
good.
be doing a bit less.
So we've got a question. So
Mr. Hart.
a couple of months ago, some of us were down in London for the Premier conference. You may have heard we won an award.
Oh, showing off again.
Shucks.
Showing
And
off
while
again.
we were there, I asked Glenn Scrivener if he had a question for the show. If you haven't yet seen it, I highly recommend Glenn Scrivener's Christmas video that he produced featuring a Down syndrome nativity. It's just beautiful.
Oh, I've seen that. It's good.
Isn't it good?
Yes, best one
Yeah,
I've seen.
so this is a question from him, and
That is
he
good.
says, my friends aren't really militant atheists. They just don't care about God. How do I even begin a conversation with them about the gospel? I guess probably we all have friends and family who are like that. People who just, it's not that they're antagonistic. They're not there to have arguments with us about our faith. They just don't really care. How do we even begin conversations with them about the gospel? Should we even be trying to talk to them about what we believe? Zoe, what do you think?
Well, I think that how we live ends up being quite a lot of the answer to this question. I mean, the idea of mission and evangelism, the model that makes sense to me is the find out where God is at work and join in. Actually, in joining in with stuff that is at the heart of God, so could be it community things or the way you choose to spend your money or whatever, and how you are as a friend is quite indicative of the faith. And that way, quite often, naturally, questions come up. And it's almost more important that we are, rather than trying to contrive conversations, because I just think that is the most unnatural fake way of doing it, and I just don't think that doesn't
Yeah.
feel like being a proper friend if you've got an agenda.
And
I don't like it.
I agree with you. And some churches put an awful lot of pressure on people to preach the gospel, and I really think that we can relax about a lot of this
This is
because
God's gospel as well,
it's God's.
isn't it?
Well, the reason why I say that is, like you said, once you're living like a Christian, that will be obvious to people around you, and that naturally opens up conversations in very strange ways. I'll give you an example. I was at Taekwondo this week, and I just got my yellow belt.
Congratulations!
Yeah, yellow belt.
Stay out of his way.
And there was this black belt on this, sitting on this like contraption.
I could have him.
His feet were started out there. And as he turned this wheel, his feet started to go further and further and further and further out. And in Taekwondo, they have two kinds of kicks, high and higher.
Yes.
Right? And so he's trying to learn to do the splits. And his legs are like right out here. He's cranking the
this
wheel
sounds
around.
like a medieval torture
And I
device.
said to my Taekwondo instructor, I said, we used to do that to heretics.
Yeah.
Which made him laugh.
Hang drawn and quartered.
Personally, I didn't used to do
But
that.
just
I never have done that to heretics, personally.
You haven't done that.
No,
You should
no,
try it.
no.
It's quite helpful.
Is it?
Sometimes.
Well, it's one way of opening a conversation, isn't it?
But the point was, it
Yes,
opened up a
sorry,
conversation.
carry
It
on.
opened up a conversation that I didn't try to have. It just he knew that, for example, that I can't grade on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And so that just demonstrates that as a Christian there's something slightly different, which led to questions. And we just had a conversation. It was natural. It was normal. I wasn't trying to force anything. He wasn't feeling uncomfortable. And so I think we can just relax about life.
I can see you chumming a mile off of that, so.
Yeah, but it's a bit like when I went into the garage the other day because my car broke down because it's nearly Christmas and it's got to happen, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was about a month ago now I went in there.
Christmas.
And, And so I went in there like that, and I was having a chat, and John in the garage, his mate was sat at the sofa, and he was telling a rude story, his mate was, I assume. And I walked in, and then his mate went, "Oh God, it's the vicar."
Yeah.
And then John went, he goes, "Hey, it's all right, he's not a proper vicar, he don't give a poop," like that. And then it was kind of like, that's the response I always have, because I'm not a proper vicar, you're not a proper vicar, you're not a
definitely
proper
not.
You're
vicar.
safe to be around.
Because you're normal.
Well, I think
I mean,
I've never
people can
met,
be themselves.
but I've never
Yeah.
met a proper vicar.
No.
Right? And I think the key thing with it is about coming out of the closet. And I think that in our world at the moment, I don't think these questions aren't there, because I think these questions are within all of us as human beings. But I think we don't have a language to discuss them, because we've been robbed of that. And I think we've been told that it's a bit like sex was in the 1950s. It's not the thing that we talk
No,
about.
I think you're exactly right.
We've been sort of imposed a silence on
Yeah.
us about these ideas which are bubbling up underneath people. And when people can feel safe because we've come out of the closet and we're not how they've been told that we are, then people will naturally have conversations and they're
No.
always
Especially
fine.
when something hits the fan.
I agree.
Yeah.
Actually, if you've been a real friend and you kind of, there's that honesty and realness with each other where you can say, you know, point to perhaps where God has already been at work. You know, why does it feel better to be giving than getting in this? Or this is what love looks like, you know, that's why it hurts. And actually, if you're a proper friend with somebody, those are the things that already
Definitely.
do matter.
But it's coming out of the closet.
George Fisher put on Facebook a couple of months ago, I'm not sure whether it was his or something he was quoting, but I just thought it was brilliant. He said, actually, the best way to share the gospel with people, just let them know that you're a Christian, and then don't be a jerk. And it's true, I mean, it's so true online, but it's true offline as well. Actually, if you're kind, if you're patient, if you love people, if you're a good friend, if you're there for them in the bad times as well as the good times. You know, my goal very often in friendships is just to think, well, actually, if I become the person that when stuff hits the fan, they know it's safe to come and talk to you. You know, that's
likewise,
that's
we need to be
when
vulnerable
the
in those
opportunity.
relationships.
Yes,
And it's the
true,
same
absolutely.
like when I
One
finished
way.
in work, when I finished in work, when I had a proper job, nobody could believe I was going to be a priest because I had certain catchphrases which involved the F word when I was on the phone to reps, right? And I wasn't the way I was supposed to be, right? But when they stopped and thought about it, they were like, actually, yeah, I get how you are
different.
What was the F word? Faith.
Yes. Anyway,
Yeah.
with
I don't give.
not
I
a
don't.
Monday
I don't.
morning,
I
Dan.
don't. I don't give a faith. You get this sorted. That was my catchphrase.
give a
I don't give a
Okay,
fig.
good.
Get it sorted.
Before we need another parental advisory warning on this episode,
I'm saying anything.
yeah, we don't think actually you need to be worried about beginning those conversations or forcing that issue. Just be a friend, be a Christian, let people know that you are, and it will happen as and when it needs to. It's God's work, not ours, after all.
True.
So thanks for watching. Remember to share us on Facebook and on Twitter, like us on YouTube, and just tell people about us.
Give her faith and it'll be all right.
Gotta have a last word, doesn't it?
Yes.
Just
I wish
the
you'd
word.
shut.